Good evening, everybody. How are you? Welcome to tonight's build along. I'm quite excited actually because it is bridal week. We've sort of jumped forward a bit because Josh is not in his normal place, but we will resume with the actual building next week. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome everybody that's in the Zoom. Good evening, Chris. How are you?
Hello. Not bad, Tom.
Hello. Good. Have you done any flying this weekend?
I haven't yet. No, I hadn't intended to get
Yet. You haven't yet. That sort of suggests that you might squeeze some in after the live show.
It is quite still out, so I could do.
Oh, okay. All right. Excellent. And good evening, Josh. How are you? Live from a remote location, undisclosed.
Yeah, got a different one this week. I'm not bad, mate. How are you?
I'm very good. I have done some flying this weekend. I did some flying with Graham today. Oh, yes. I must send some links before I forget. Whilst I'm doing the link stuff, do you want to explain to everyone what we're doing?
Yeah, for sure. So, in the last couple of hours, you guys may have seen that the Maverick bridal plans have been launched on the online page. This week, we're just going to do the basic thing of preparing that bridal to go onto the kite in roughly 2 weeks. I do apologise for the mix-up in kind of like timescale for this. I don't have access to my sewing machine or any of my building instruments, but I could pretty much squeeze a bridal from what I carry with me. So that's going to be this week. What you're going to need this week: metal rule, some bridal line. I'm using 1.5mm bridal line, which is equivalent to 150 pound. A lighter, scissors, and of course a Sharpie. If you guys haven't got those already, it's quite good to do this as we go along because it's quite a simple one this week, just tying a few knots. But yeah, you guys have got about 5 minutes before we start preparing this thing, if you guys need to grab anything.
So some idle chit chat then whilst people wait. Josh, how was your holiday this week?
I've been away this week in the south of England, seeing people. I had the pleasure yesterday of, was it yesterday? It was yesterday.
It was yesterday, yeah, it was yesterday.
Of flying with a few friends, a few people I haven't seen in a very long time. That was great fun. Not very good wind though. There's where I was flying yesterday, it's got a bit of a turbulence problem.
Yes. Am I familiar with this location?
You may have been there not so recently yourself, yeah.
Yes, I definitely have been there, and unfortunately, I think it's fair. I don't think it's being harsh if we say that the wind can be difficult at times.
I like to use the word questionable.
Questionable. Yeah. Okay. All right. That works. Well, at least you actually managed to get some flying done, and I bet it was nice to actually be in a gathering, you know.
No, there was no gathering. We're not allowed
no, sorry. Yes, I bet it was nice to see some people you haven't seen in a while from a very long range. How about that?
Perfect.
Excellent. Okay, so is everybody ready? Now I have to say we did have Peter sent a picture of his kite to us in the week, and that is a very bold kite. Did everyone else see it?
Did see it, yes.
It is rather pink, and I can only imagine that there's going to be some pink bridal line being tied this evening stroke afternoon. I'm guessing. It's just a guess.
And we could give Peter the heads up that in 2 weeks you might want to get the matching pink bungee.
Yes, that's very true. Right, so unless Peter's in. Okay, good evening, Peter. So just checking, has anybody got any questions so far? Did anyone get stuck on the previous bits? Today is the day to ask because we haven't got an awful lot going on. It's going to be a short session, and today is the day to ask because we can cover it. We've got the time. Okay, so anyone that is going to tie your bridle along with us, I'm going to attempt it, but let's see how that goes. Yeah, download the plans now. They're on the Facebook page. Let's go for it. And Josh, we might as well get started, I think.
Brilliant. Okay, I'm just going to reposition the camera for you guys so you can see what I'm doing. Right, so as I said before, we don't need AirPods or car keys. That won't come into this. We're going to need a Sharpie, a lighter, a pair of scissors, and a ruler. Like I say, you guys can download this from I believe it's on the online website by now. You can follow the link on the Facebook page to that. And all we're going to do, basically, very much like the post build, we've got our sections here, which we're going to make up. And we're just going to mark the line before we actually tie any knots or cut anything. So I don't know if Matt, can you screen share have you got the PDF?
I am just about to, you carry on and I will get it up in front of me and just doing some other admin with the link. Okay, the Zoom room link is going in the chat now if you want to join us. And let me find the other bit.
Okay. It's worth pointing out tonight that I'm working from one continuous length of bridle line, and we won't have any wastage. If you guys follow this exactly as it should be. So
okay, right. Let's try and screen share. Screen share. Select. Okay. Can you see my screen?
Indeed. So what we're looking at tonight is we're going to look first at the blue line that's made up there. So this line is going to make our in-haul and our toe point of the kite. And what we're going to do here is we're going to start from actually the E point. We're going to measure the 50 centimeters from that E mark into the D point, mark the D point, then to the center, mark our reflective point, and then, like we did with the pulse bridle, match those marks to make sure that any human error is matched across the mirror image of that bridle. So you can see that our first mark is at E. We don't actually need to mark this because this is going to be the dead cut of the bridle. So the first thing we're going to do is from the end of the bridle line, we're going to measure 50 centimeters to the D point and then leave a mark at D. So yeah, we're going to make a start. Matt, keep that handy and we'll go through that as we progress.
Yeah, okay. So we are currently on the blue line of the page and we are starting with the end cut. Yeah.
Correct.
And we're going to, I guess, I don't want to jump ahead, but we're tying a knot right in that end.
Not yet, no.
Oh, okay.
Like I said before, at the minute we're just measuring and marking points on these lines.
Just measuring and marking. Okay, perfect. Right, so let's just stop that briefly and watch what you're doing.
Okay, so I've got my end of the mark here. I'm going to measure 50 centimeters to start. And then I'm making a mark with my Sharpie at 50 centimeters. Just let go of that bridle line, so I'm just going to measure that again. Like we said in previous weeks, if you have a long ruler that can do this in one, you're going to get a little bit more accuracy. Unfortunately, my long ruler is still at home, but you can do it in sections. So the next thing we're going to do from that mark, we're going to mark 65 centimeters. So from the mark we've just made, along. So that is the 60, and that is 65 right there.
So 65 from the previous mark.
Indeed. And what you can see, 65 there, we've got got that mark of reflect. So that's our reflection point. So we're going to put a nice firm crease in at that mark. And the first thing we're going to do is cut the bridle line to length so that the end, so from the halfway mark, we're going to match that end and straight cut across so that we've got two identical points.
So we're cutting at the fold.
No.
Sorry, we're cutting not at the fold. We're cutting at the end. Hold on, I'll show you.
Just
no
like
one
that,
else
yes.
can see yet, but we're cutting there. Now, do we have to leave extra for heating up the line?
So if you're cutting with scissors and then melting the end, yes, leave about 1 millimeter extra. I've left my extra and I'm going to do that. It doesn't need to be much of a melt, just a slight blemish on the end of there.
Okay.
If you're cutting with a soldering iron or a hot knife, it should cut directly in half.
Okay.
And then after you've done that, again, from that end point, we're going to match up the mark. And that mark that we initially made at 50 centimeters, we're just going to mirror that on the other side. So you should end up with two marks that match up with each other like this.
Okay, let's do. Yeah. Okay. I gotta find where I put them up. There we go.
And Matt, you're building along tonight. I'm impressed.
I'm actually building along tonight, but it's very difficult to do and talk simultaneously. So if if I go quiet, you'll know why. Okay. Awesome. Yes.
Okay,
well, I've done the first part. Oh, by the way, good evening, Peter. Peter did join us. I don't know where he's gone now, but I'm sure he'll be back.
Oh, there he is.
There he is. Oh, right. Okay. Perfect. I can't hear what you're saying. There we go.
I said I was getting my ruler. I was going to say, you're looking for one of these, though?
Oh, yeah. Funnily enough, I was, but I have actually managed to track one down. But yes, I was looking for an E3.
Okay. There you go.
Tease me about pink.
Also, Alan says hi. He's just relaxing on the sofa tonight. Well, oh no, he's had a minor accident in the week. Oh, Alan, sorry to hear that, mate. Well, I hope you get better very soon. So, next up.
Matt, are you able to share the PDF again, please?
Yes, absolutely.
This will be a very quick build tonight because it's actually not complex to build this bridle. But now we're going to look at the section, the orange section below the blue section. And this section is literally just two identical sets of this. So there's no mirror in this. The first thing we're going to do is from that A marker, we're going to measure the 58 centimeters to the D point and make another mark at that D point. And then the 53 to the B point, we're going to cut at 53. And it's as easy as that.
Okay, sorry, say that again, Josh. So we're picking up a new bit of line, or the same bit of line that we had, but not the part we just cut and drew on. Okay, but we need a new section of line.
Yep. What we're measuring from the A point. So the A should be a straight cut. That's the start of a new section of line. 58 centimeters along, we're going to make a mark. That's going to be your D marker that you can see there, which is titled Lark's Head. And then from that mark, we're going to do another 53 centimeters and cut. There's going to be a cut at the A and the B.
Okay, so yes.
Okay.
Let's do that. See what you're doing.
Okay, so I've got the end of my line. That's at 0 distance. I'm measuring in 58 centimeters. I'm making my mark. Mark's there at 58. We're going to measure away another 53 centimeters.
So from that mark, 53.
Yep. And we're going to cut at 53. Again, remember to leave an extra millimeter or so if you're cutting with scissors. And then what we're going to do, once you've got there, you're going to replicate that next to your bridle line. So remember, we're not measuring this time, we're matching the marks and the length of what we've just prepared to take away any human error.
So I noticed we're making 2 of these, but we only made 1 of the first one.
Yeah, so the first one is going to be the point from the center T. These are going to be on the outer leading edges of the kites.
Right. Okay. Okay.
Okay. Now we're done with those. Once you've got, now you should have 3 pieces of line.
I will have as soon as I can find my marks. Okay.
Are we good?
It's all very quiet in here tonight
Working.
as we are beavering away. So I'm just going to switch to Facebook. Okay, no questions so far. So there we go.
Okay, are we good to continue? Are you guys about caught up?
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, I keep switching to Facebook and then
Getting distracted.
getting distracted. I'm nearly there. I'm nearly there. Very close. Yes. Right. Go for it, Josh.
Okay, so we're going to go back to our what we're going to identify as the blue line, that long single unit with marks at 50 centimeters inside. And at that 50 centimeter inside line, you can see on the PDF it's marked as knot. What we're literally going to do at that mark, we're going to do an overhand knot so that the mark sits directly in the center of that knot. Just like that. So ignore this. This was where my Sharpie slipped. So the knot is inside in there.
So where the center mark is,
Not the reflect line.
not the.
So we've got our mark here. This is our 50 mark. We're doing an overhand knot.
Oh, right. At the
Concealing
first mark we made.
Yeah, and you can see that's the mark there. We're concealing that right in the center of that knot.
I'm starting to wish I'd picked a different color to make my marks with.
And what you should get, if you align both marks, your ends should meet perfectly.
Okay. Huh.
How are we getting on?
Yeah, getting there.
Yep, I'm good.
So the knot is concealing the mark.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
And what that's doing is that's positioning the mark right in the center of that knot. And that's what we're looking for. The marks should be directly in the center. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, the next thing we're going to do, so we're going to go to the outside of that line. So we've just done our knots. We're going to the open ends. And right at the end, as close as you can get to the end, we're going to put another overhand knot. Literally so that the blemished end is just peeking out by about maybe 1 millimeter. And we're going to do that on both sides. So you should end up with exactly like this. Okay.
Yep.
I do apologize if I'm going too fast. I've done millions of these.
Yeah. And you haven't got fat fingers like me.
They're kind of fat.
Trust me.
You can feel the concentration in the screen.
Yeah, massively. Okay.
Okay, so the next thing we're going to do, we're going to go to our shorter lengths of line. So the two matching that we made before. We're going to find our marks. You can see the mark in the middle there. And what we're going to do, I use a ruler for this so you can absolutely pinpoint it, is you're going to make a firm crease at the mark so that the mark is right in the middle of that crease. Just like that.
Yep.
Once that crease is in there, you're going to fold that in. And we're going to do our typical lark's head over the top. And you can see that the mark is sitting directly in the center of that lark's head. We're going to get our long section of line. And at the knot, which is marked D, the inside 50 centimeter knot we've just done, we're going to position the lark's head so that there's a section of line falling each side over that knot. As like that. We're going to pull that tight, and that should lock that knot, lark's head in place, just like that. Okay.
Now I was still making the knots in the end of my for my toe points, so I am going to have to ask you to go back over that part.
Well, that's a good job. We've got two to do, isn't it?
Yes. Right. So. Okay.
So, you've got your individual sections of line.
Individual sections of line, yes.
Finding the mark.
Finding the mark somewhere.
Positioning the mark right in the center of that fold.
Yes.
Fold the mark in. Make that mark the center of the lark's head. Just like that, so it sits right in the middle of those two lines. You see that?
Yeah.
Can I just ask, does it matter what side the short side of the orange line is on, respect to the end of the blue line?
No, because when we put it on the kite, it'll pull to its natural position. Okay. We're going to put that lark's head to that knot. We're going to have one section of the lark's head either side, like that. And we're going to pull that tight so that the lark's head sits on both sides of the knot and it won't move. And then you should, in theory, have a perfectly mirrored bridle.
Okay, let's do. If there was ever an evening not to be fingers and thumbs. Now, is there a trick to getting it sit nicely in between the knot? Sorry everybody at home listening to me struggling with a knot.
We're sorry too.
Okay. Yes, I think that's it. I don't know.
Exactly like that, Matt. Perfect.
Okay, perfect. Nice. Okay, good. Excellent.
I'm also just going to throw it out there that if anybody does have any questions about any other sections of the build, because this has been quite a quick one tonight, I'm going to hang around for about 15 minutes if you guys have any questions you need answered after this.
So that's that, and then that's that. See, at this point, when you're normally tying a bridle, you're getting excited because you're about to chuck it on a kite, whereas we're going to have delayed gratification.
Making me feel guilty, Matt.
Yeah.
You should.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, honesty's the policy.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool.
Any questions? Anybody got any questions? Okay. Bear with me because I'm nearly done.
So I got a question just sort of on next week or what's upcoming. Is it one
Okay.
more episode to finish sewing and one to stick, or stick and sew?
So we've got next week's episode, we'll be finishing the sail completely. So we'll be applying our noses, our spine reinforcements, and that's the sail done. The week after that, we will be putting in the frames with the bridles, and then the kites will be fully complete from there.
So you reckon 2 more weeks?
2 more weeks.
Okay, right.
And I think it'd be a shame if we didn't have a follow-up session to see how everybody's got on.
Absolutely, right. I have a bridle. Yes, I think.
That looks like a bridle.
Yeah, I think it's reasonably even.
Good.
With my flying, you won't be able to tell anyway, so it's fine. Right, I'm going to have a quick check. So that's it. That is literally it. Okay, well, that is definitely the quickest session that we've ever had, ever. Yeah. So, funnily enough, Josh, I did want to ask some questions anyway, and whilst we're waiting for everyone else, it'd be nice if we just had a bit of bridal theory, just a little bit, just for anyone that's interested. So if anyone's got any questions about bridals, we will try and answer them. And I'm going to ask a couple of questions now using screen share so I can ask you. So hold on. So we've got the different parts of the bridle here.
Yeah.
Believe that's called, between A and D is the uphaul. Is that right? Yeah. I don't know the other bits. So
between C and D, you've got your in-haul.
In-haul, so this bit here. Yeah, okay.
And between D and B, you've got your out-haul.
So out-haul, in-haul, up-haul, and
toe point.
Toe point. Yeah. Okay. So how do the different lengths affect the characteristics of the kite?
Right.
Briefly.
So that's not an easy question to answer. Effectively, the wider your toe point to the kite, the more belly the kite has got when it's powered up. And what you'll see, particularly with your aerostuff wings, is the kites will actually bend across their cross section greater, and they create this kind of like C-shaped effect. And what that does is that gives the kite more power, and it locks into the turns more. So that's depending on the width of the bridle as such. If you adjust the pitch of the kite by shortening or lengthening your uphaul, you're directly changing the angle of the nose, and with that you're going to adjust such things as trick maneuvers, power, speed. Typically, speed is the one that you will affect the most by altering the pitch of your nose. The in-haul kind of is self-determining of what the width of the bridle is going to be. There's a guy. There's a brilliant website, and I want to say it's by a guy called Baxter. No, not that. I'll put the link in the on the line page. Andy Wardley's website has brilliant bridal theory on it.